I have compiled 30 of my favorite tips and tricks for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate that I feel enhance the game for a wide range of players at varying skill levels. My goal is to help you better tailor the experience to your preferences and to maximize usefulness of many of the nuanced new features present in the game. This will not touch on tips for specific fighters, but instead focus on mechanics and system level tweaks that apply to the game overall. Let's get to it. If you're coming off of Smash 4, you might find it slightly harder to pull off consistent short hop attacks in Ultimate. The tap sensitivity of the jump button is more in line with how it was in Melee, meaning the window of opportunity is far smaller. A way to make sure you always perform a short hop aerial attack is by pressing the jump and attack buttons at the exact same time. This will guarantee your aerials will be performed low to the ground, but keep in mind that these fast short hop aerial attacks do less damage than their full jump counterparts. At any moment of a match, you can pause the game and enter photo mode. You might want to get a cool close-up of your favorite fighter, but you'll find using the standard zoom will not allow you to get very close before they start to vanish. If you hold down the Y button and then press zoom, you'll find you can get significantly closer to your target. Use this along with the Z button to move the game one frame at a time until you have that perfect pose. When a new challenger approaches, you might get unlucky or happen to be using someone you're not very good with, and if you lose this fight, you will not be unlocking them right then and there. Luckily, you can go into the Games and More section, and by hitting this button here, you can challenge them again and maybe pick someone better suited to counter them. Look at the overall power number of your opponent and the corresponding indicators up or down. These arrows are not dictating if your power level is higher or lower than your opponent's, it's telling you if you have a favorable matchup to their spirit type or not. Save a variety of spirit builds to easily pick the right type to best take advantage of this system. Training mode is a great place to practice your combo game, but can be inconsistent if your target's percentage keeps increasing, affecting their launch distance. A very easy way to reset everything back to default is to press L plus R plus A at the same time. Another worthwhile option is the fixed damage modifier in the training options menu to easily set your opponent to a specific percentage. In Smash Ultimate, you have two separate ways to dodge in the air. The neutral dodge can be done by pressing the shield button in the air with no direction and has very little lag on the end of it. This move is much more reliable to use while recovering from offstage as compared to the directional dodge that, if misused, can lead to a self-destruct because of its long ending lag. The directional dodge does have its uses, and it can be used to shorten the gap when grabbing the ledge, which avoids its biggest drawback being its end lag. Classic mode this time around is individually tailored to the fighter you choose and will theme the battles around the games they hail from. An easy example is Young Link's route that pits you against only Zelda characters, assist trophies are limited to Zelda themed, and a unique Ganon boss awaits the final battle. Some of these tweaks to classic mode are easier to spot than others. Dr. Mario's route, as an example, are purely versus matches against 3 characters that are always the same color as the germs from Dr. Mario, being red, blue, and yellow. These little nuanced changes can be pretty clever, and it makes it more rewarding to play through classic mode with multiple characters due to this attention to detail for each fighter. Counting frame data is something you might consider looking into once you feel you have mastered the basics. Instead of going frame by frame in your favorite video editing tool to learn how certain attacks function, Smash Ultimate gives you the ability to change the training mode into your own personal slideshow. Pressing the L button will now advance the game exactly 1 frame at a time, while holding down the L button allows for the game to run in real time. Since you cannot unmap functions to buttons, this does not work very well with a GameCube controller, however. Instead, use a traditional Switch controller and it works great with this tool. Modes that use the Spirits mechanic reward skill spheres and snacks. These items are used in your skill tree in World of Light and to level up your spirits. Fighting spirit battles where your power number is far greater than your opponent will see your rewards for winning being far less. To maximize your payout, find a high value target and use a low level spirit, and this will greatly increase your rewards at the end of the battle if you come out on top, and is a great way to farm these 2 items. In third place for the highest double jump, we have Zero Suit Samus. followed by Greninja at second, and lastly, Falco takes the number 1 spot. The skill tree in World of Light gives you the ability to toggle skills on and off, perfect for when you don't like how a skill changes how your fighter feels, but more importantly, you also have the ability to fully refund these skill spheres. Simply press the R button to forget these skills and get a full refund of your skill spheres. Note that every time you do this, however, it will require you to spend some of your SP currency. If you find you're accidentally throwing out smash attacks when you don't mean to, or finding it hard to pull them off with the left analog stick, head to the other settings in the control options. You can now adjust how accurate the left stick reads. If you're doing more accidental smash attacks than you want to, put the setting on high so that only very fast flicks of the stick count as a smash attack. On the other hand, turn it to low if you find it hard to pull off the timing of these. Alternatively, consider using the right analog stick for instant access to all your smash attacks. There are 2 different ways to change your outfit on the character's select menu. Either hit the L and R buttons while hovering over any fighter, or click on your player panel to bring up a list of available color schemes and styles to choose from. The new Perfect Shield mechanic is very different in Smash Ultimate. It now requires you to release the shield at the exact moment the attack lands, and you'll be rewarded with a mini stun on your opponent. If you find it difficult to find the correct timing for this, enter training mode and put the CPU to spam smash attacks or neutral specials. Now you can easily practice the correct timing for a perfect shield and get better at implementing it during a real battle. Make sure to dismiss the spirits that you don't think you'll be using, because their cores can be used to summon rare and powerful spirits. Summons require certain types of spirit cores, and you don't need to fill in every single core, just socket one from each category to create some of the best spirits in the game using this method. The default Squad Strike settings might not be exactly what you want, where you seamlessly cycle out to a roster of fighters mid-match, like what I thought it was. There is a very simple way to improve this mode by changing the match options to Tag Team. This will make it so that you have either 3 or 5 stocks like a normal match, but each stock now is a different fighter. This is a really cool mode with this setting on, and turns Smash Ultimate into a more simplified version of something like Marvel vs. Capcom. Now let's hope this mode gets an update in the future to where we can manually tag teammates in and out, because I think that would make it even better. By going into the Vault, Sounds, and My Music, you can go into the track list for each and every stage and adjust how often you want your favorite songs to appear during matches. Turn the bias up on what you think are the best tracks, and lessen or turn off entirely the songs you find lacking. A 2-way tie for the third lightest fighter that gets launched the farthest goes to Squirtle and Mr. Game & Watch, followed by Jigglypuff at number 2, and finally Pichu as the lightest in the game. A 2-way tie for third heaviest fighter that's the hardest to budge starts with Donkey Kong and King Dedede, followed by King K. Rool at second, and lastly, Bowser takes number 1 as the heaviest. Before tackling a spirit that looks to be quite the challenge, you can use battle items before the match to greatly tip the scales in your favor. Apply a health degen to your enemies, disable items that they might start with, or stick raw damage on them from the start of the battle. If you've been playing the game for a while, then you've likely noticed you've been gathering gold. Tucked away in the vault is a shop that offers up a variety of things that you can buy with this currency. Unlock new music tracks, accessories for Mii fighters, spirits, or snacks to help them level up. If you've been practicing your combos and juggles in training mode and wondering why they are not working as effectively against real opponents, it's because the stationary CPU is not using escape tools like jumping, dodging, and directional influence. Go into the options menu and turn up CPU shuffling so that they now attempt to escape combos and use directional influence to modify their aerial momentum. Also, you will need to set the CPU to active, and I found that setting the CPU to level 4 is the lowest value to where they will still use aerial dodges to escape, but will still be subdued enough to practice on. This will give you a better representation of how your setups might actually work in a real match. You can save replays after matches by pressing the Y button on this screen here. These replays can then be edited in a very simplistic built-in video editing tool. This allows you to create scenes that would be normally very hard to capture. Start recording your very own Smash film now. Why wait around for balance patches when you can buff and nerf the entire roster to how you see fit? This might not seem all that worthwhile within the first year or so of launch, however the inclusion of this feature will be very helpful to the longevity of the game in the future when it's no longer supported. At that time it might end on a build of the game that the competitive community deems unbalanced, and this could help rectify that. If you're trying to reach 9.9 intensity in classic mode, you'll need to focus on finishing fights incredibly quickly while taking as little damage as possible. Make sure to hold on to your classic tickets until you absolutely need them. Don't waste them before the final fight if you have not yet hit 9.9 prior to it. You can now die multiple times on the final boss battle and can still achieve a maximum clear if you use these tickets correctly. Keep an eye out for spirits that say they can be enhanced. Auto-sort your collection to easily find these. Once they reach max level, they can turn into a much more powerful version that will now incorporate a rare skill that can drastically change how your fighter performs. These can combine with certain support spirits to achieve some crazy combinations. The fastest raw ground speed starts with Little Mac at number 3, followed by Captain Falcon taking 2nd, and finally, no surprise, Sonic takes the number 1 spot. The slowest raw speed fighter starts with Jigglypuff at 3rd, followed by Robin at number 2, and lastly, Incineroar is the overall slowest in the game. Shielding attacks and then letting go of your shield to launch a counter is not the quickest way to retaliate. You have a variety of options that can still be performed while your shield is up. Try the short hop aerial shortcut we learned about earlier to launch a quick attack, full jump out to escape elsewhere, or up smash straight out of shielding to punish overly offensive opponents. If you find the concept of the smash balls random and annoying but still want to use final smashes in battles, turn on the FS meter in the options and also turn off smash balls entirely. Each fighter will now have their own meter that will build up over time so they can unleash their final smash, similar to a super meter in a traditional fighting game. You do lose part of your meter when you get KO'd, adding an extra incentive to stay alive. And those are all my favorite tips that I personally discovered myself or found by digging around in the tips section built into the game. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has a lot of nuanced changes to its core gameplay and systems, and hopefully this will help every single mode in the game be just a little better or more intuitive. If you like this style of informative content that focuses on game mechanics and systems, consider subscribing. If you want to go a little further and show your appreciation of what I do here, hitting the join button underneath this video makes you a Boomstick Gaming member, which helps to fund videos like this, along with fan donations on Patreon. This has been Deadite, and thanks for watching.